Morning.
Popping up there. We had our first session last week, everybody. It went really well. Lots of good interaction. It's about discussion in our first session, and I'll let Jeff go into how he wants to run it. The one thing I would ask is, if you're at your computer and you have a camera, if you could switch it on so that it feels more like a meeting rather than a telephone call. Let's see, Brett's there. I hope that's not a Dallas Cowboy shirt, Brett, is it?
No, it's IFG.
All right, great to see you sporting the colors of the company.
That came off as unfortunately, it's just IFG. That's what that sounded like.
Yeah. So everybody, let me introduce you to Jeff. I obviously, in my email introducing this course, gave Jeff a nice introduction, and he, of course, sent over a fantastic video just trying to outline what we want to try and achieve. I would say, and Jeff will probably reiterate this, we get far more out of it if we participate. So as a bunch of sales professionals, we shouldn't be shy to put forward how we feel, what we think. But without further ado, I'm going to be in the background. If I can help contribute to this session, I most certainly will. But it's all over to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that introduction. Good morning, everybody. This is cohort B. So we did this with cohort A last week. I think it went well, as Ian said. The idea here and what we're going to talk about today, and I'll share my screen with some slides here in a minute, but I want to reiterate what Ian said, because, look, we've spent a lot of time together. Ian and I have spent a lot of time together. Brett and Scott and Dupree and Ian and I spent the better part of a day reworking what this training engagement should look like. I don't do cookie cutter sales training. Everything I do is bespoke, sometimes to the detriment of my business, but everything I do is bespoke. And so I want to just underline the idea that we put this program, the flow, the lessons, the outline, everything together with you specifically in mind. And there was quite a bit of scrutiny behind it in terms of, yeah, they'll never go for that. Or I think what we really need is this, or like, how do we reach everybody? So I want to reiterate that so that you know that this is something that is designed specifically for you so you can get the most out of it. To that end, you will get more from it if we participate. So I'm going to ask again. You might see me ask later, can you turn your cameras on? Because the more we can make this like we're all in the same room together, the better we're at, or the better we're going to do with it. And again, the investment's been made to support you in this. The investment's been made so that you will take some things from this training session over the next couple of months and actually use it to go make more money. And so this is not something that is being thrown at you. This is something that is being provided for you. And now I'm just repeating myself, so I'll stop that. But we've got a nice group here. And I'm going to share my screen so you can start to see the deck. If you can't, for some reason, put your camera on, just drop in the chat while you can. If you're out on the road, I don't want you on the camera, right? If you are driving right now, I appreciate your dedication to being here. But if at all possible, or if you just don't have a camera, I totally understand. And we can work on that. Maybe there's a way that you can join from your phone next time. But everybody should be able to see my screen here. What I want to talk about today, and this is where I start all of my training engagements, is understanding what your drive, what your motivation is. What is your why? And this is an exercise that is very foundational because we understand why we do everything we do. And the connection here that you may not appreciate now, but I hope you'll appreciate at the end of this hour, is that the reasons that you work for this company are very closely tied to the reasons your best customers buy from you. So we're going to run you through a couple of questions here. But before we get into that, I want to talk about what I like to call the rules of engagement. In order to get the most out of this, these are the best practices. First, be here now. We've talked about the cameras. I'm not going to beat that horse to death, but understand that this is important. The investment's been made. The value is here for you. You will absolutely take something away from this training engagement. You should take something away from every week that we spend together, and you will be able to take it and use it right away. If you are here and you're able to participate, you're going to get more out of it than if you're just passively listening. The second thing is your ideas mean something. I know a lot of things. I've been doing this a long time, but I don't pretend to have everything figured out. And you sell to your customers every day. So if you have something you'd like to contribute, if you have something that you would even like to contradict me with, please raise your hand. We're a small enough group. You can speak up, drop something into the chat. We will be able to work that out together. I know a lot of things, but I'm not a know-it-all. And I want to hear from you, because the more we are able to connect over these issues, particularly if we disagree on some things, the better we will able to see the truth, and the better we will all be able to understand the best way to move forward. The next thing is, like, understand that we're here to grow. So I don't run into this very often, but let's try to keep the table talk. Let's try to keep any demeaning comments, off the out of the chat and out of our conversation today. People may have questions that may seem very elementary to you, but if they're feeling safe enough to ask those questions, we need to create the environment where they can get good answers and not feel as if they can't get the information that they need. This meeting could not have been a memo. Again, back to your participation. I talked to Ian about this. I talked to all my clients about this. I say, look, before we come in and we build a custom program, right? It's way cheaper to just listen to the podcast. It's way cheaper to subscribe to a bunch of YouTube videos. It's way cheaper to put something generic together. But again, this was created for you. This is not something that could just be distributed to you. Also, memos are one way. I'm going to keep coming back to this. I want to engage in discussion, because we all get more out of discussion. I remember, and I'm sure you all see it, when you come out of these meetings where you're sitting around that conference room and whoever's presenting, whatever the topic of the day is, you get done, talking about that, discussing it, and then all of a sudden the presenter leaves the room, or a couple people leave the room, and you sit around for the next 40, 50 minutes sometimes talking about how you feel about it. That's where the real growth happens. Let's try to create that environment in these sessions. The last two things, there's a ton of opportunity to go and grow this business. There's a ton. And I know the last couple of years have been a little rocky. There's been a lot of turnaround, a lot of change, a lot of things that are headed in the right direction now. The whole point of this is to pour rocket fuel on that inertia and create even more of it. And finally, if we're not having fun, we're doing it wrong. So let's keep it light. Let's make some things happen, and let's move forward. Any questions before we get started? All right. First question, and I hope you all had an opportunity to review the homework I sent. I did not pretend for a second that all of you were going to do that homework. I promise I will not give you homework every week, even though there will be a small assignment at the end of today. But we want to basically together today run through those 5 questions that I asked you in that homework assignment that came out a couple of weeks ago. And so what I'm going to do is ask for volunteers who want to share their answers. If you don't want to volunteer, I am quite happy picking people. And I have a pretty good idea who I need to pick on too. So if you feel like you're one of the usual suspects, it might behoove you to just raise your hand and volunteer. Steve, I see you smiling. And so, I might just start with you here.
Hey,
why do you believe in your company?
I have a long-standing reputation here locally. Our boss man, Dupree, branch manager, is very well known in the local industry. I actually worked with him on some designs when I was a chef for a couple properties here in Greenville. And then the support of, people that the sales professionals have been in this business for years, and coming over from the industry, that's the plenty of, sorry about that. You recalling me right now?
Doesn't he know you're in training?
I think that might be why he's calling me. I ducked in the back office here. He might think I skipped out. But yeah, just the support of the professionals, people around me. It's really helpful learning the lay of the land. And as an operator, chef, or F&B director, it was I knew what equipment I needed. I didn't know everything else that was out there. A lot of it, but there's just so much huge world out there when you get into the whole sales side of it. That the ability to help the customer find alternates, find options, give options for different or give multiple options for a solution. And like I said, with the support of people that have been doing this for years and years is very helpful.
Let's make sure I'm going.
Yep, that's what I thought. Keep pretty right there.
I love that he's checking in on you to make sure that you're working while you're while you're actually doing it. So it sounds like your answer is related to this company is full of people who know the business, who understand the industry,
Yep.
and they understood you when you were a food and beverage director or working in the industry. And so to join forces in this way felt like a natural fit for you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks for that. I may come back to you, Steve,
Yeah,
just to keep debris off your back.
Okay.
Anybody else want to share their first answer? I am not shy.
Hey, Jeff,
Ken,
I'll get myself out of the way because I figured you might be calling on me. Ken Yeager from B&J, Kansas City. And I looked at this list of questions almost like one continuous question, Jeff. So I'll just kind of give you the whole thing in a crib notes, if you will. The why do I believe in my company is the me, I guess. I do believe in me and what I offer, and also the assets that my company, my corporation brings as a whole. With what we have behind us. In terms of the buying group and the offerings they offer, and then honestly, it's the assets here at B&J, and Dupree's division, or I know FRS leans heavily on warewashing. I would say what I look at the assets of our company, and I look at our core competency being a lot to do with exhaust systems, and that's the start of the project that kind of gets us all the way down to the sometimes the China on the table, we hope. So I just think that's what it's basically the offerings of my division, my core competencies, if you will, and the people. I know that was alluded to earlier. The people that I have, my installers, my delivery people. It's all an extension of our corporation, and I always try to look at it that way as well. So I am that first person, but I have a lot of assets behind me. So that's why I work here. I enjoy the people. So anyway, there you go.
Thanks, Ken. No, I appreciate that. And you picked up on something. One of the things, I've been doing this exercise now for 10 years. And one of the things that I like about it is that one question leads into the next, leads into the next, leads into the next. And it's almost as if you are running through the assignment, or as you are running through the assignment, rather, you're prompted to reflect back on the answer you just gave. And, I think one of the things that gets missed, particularly by salespeople who have been in the role that they've been in for a while, been in the industry they've been in for a while, is that
42 years, Jeff, not to interrupt.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not picking on you, Ken, but let me ask you this. Do you ever
It's
find
a second
yourself
language for me. That's part of my answer on number 4, okay? I'm bilingual.
Well, what you find is that people get into routines which are good. Those routines sometimes turn into ruts, which can be bad, but it gets really worse when those ruts become canyons and you can't escape them. And so the reason that I think this exercise is so powerful And Ken, I am actually curious. I mean, did you learn anything, or did you recognize something new as you did these? Because, you know, this exercise prompts you to think, and I recommend that people do it at least every 6 months, at least
I
every
mean,
year. Every 6 months is probably better. But I mean, when you stop and think about these prompts, you can't help but make different connections every time. Go ahead.
No, I just, I don't know if that was a rhetorical question, but I will do one follow-up and then obviously give it back to you. You know, the whole idea of me is I leave every day with a bag full of knowledge, okay? And depending on your length in your career, your skill sets, I leave every day with a bag of knowledge, and I try to add to that bag every day of my sales career. Okay. That's my mantra, if you will. So, so you never stop learning. You never stop learning, whether it's product or sales technique or whatever it is, closing skills, whatever. So there you go. All
Well, thank you
ears.
for adding that. No, I
You bet.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Can I get a third person to share their answer to this question before I move on and make some recommendations? Nobody? All right.
I'm calling somebody.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to suggest Kevin Doherty because he's on camera. You're muted, but you're on camera today, so I know you're here.
Unmuted,
There we go.
unmuted. Here I am.
Why
Well,
do you believe in this company?
well, Jeff, I've been with this company just about 5 years now, and came on board during COVID, which was a difficult time, obviously. Been in the business for 30 years in the food service business. So it's been a great ride with this company. A lot of support, people who care about the business, people who care about their customers, and I just enjoy it. I enjoy building relationships with customers and helping them solve their problems.
So let me pick on you here, Kevin. Let me dig
Yeah.
into that a little bit.
Sure.
So that sounds to me like that's why you love selling in this industry, but you chose to be here 5 years ago during a very difficult time. What is it about this company or this? And I think about IFG globally, but maybe your particular branch. Like, what is it about the logo on your business card that makes you want to work for that particular logo? Because you've got options. You've been doing this a long time. You've had a successful run. So why here and not anywhere else?
Well, because I generally think that the people that work at this company care. And I see that every day. They're willing to help out. They're willing to solve problems. They're willing to jump in and help out when needed. So I think that's important to have a team that everyone's all in and they're there to help each other. And that's important because you need a team to get things done. You can't do it on your own. You need people behind the scenes. You need people who aren't out on the street and people who are there to help each other succeed.
How rare is that? You say that as if it's not something that your competitors can say. Is that true?
Well, I don't really see like competition so much, behind the scenes, other than what I know in past experiences. But I also like the fact that we're a smaller company. We're not a big Edward Don or a Trimark, and I to me that's important because I think sometimes with the larger companies, um, you know, you're just a number sometimes. So that's the way I kind of view it. I worked for a very large corporation for almost 30 years, and it's just a different mentality. It's a different culture working for a smaller type company like IFG.
Totally agree. And I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things that comes up a lot when I ask this question is what the company values. And what you started to get there to get at there rather, Kevin, was this idea that like we're a small group of people who care. We don't get lost in the corporateness of what some of the bigger competitors get involved with or get stuck in. And look, if you feel that as an employee, there's no way your customers don't feel that as your customers, right? And so rhetorically, Ken, the question I asked you before was directed at you, but this one is more rhetorical. Does that come through in your messaging? Does that come through in the feelings that your customers get from working with you? Do they feel the same reason for working with you that you feel to work for this company, right? Those are the things that as they start to bleed through, you start to really build a moat around your business. Because yes, they can go to the internet and get something cheaper, but it doesn't feel, well, quite frankly, pardon the pun, it kind of feels cheap. When they're used to getting the experience that they get from working with you, and then they don't get it, they're clearly missing something. But if you're not making that thing important in their minds, they're not going to miss it so much. So again, I'm this snowball is going to start rolling downhill here really quickly, but what I want to ingrain in you all is that the reasons that you choose to work here are often the same, if not at least very similar reasons to why your customers want to work with you. And that's worth at least a couple of points of margin. And it's worth even more than that when you're able to come in and bail them out of a situation that they found themselves in because Webstaurant would only deliver to the door. And they didn't measure that piece wouldn't actually fit through the door, right? These are the things that we hear that come up all the time. But again, when I ask this question, it usually has something to do with the company values. A lot of times I will hear, this company believes in me, which is why I believe in them. And you don't get that in a very corporate, quote, environment where you're just a number. And look, this company's got a mission that's pretty clear. And you're helping restaurants and restaurant owners and food and beverage directors. You're helping them in ways that bigger corporations can't. If you're not leaning into that, I suggest that you do. Here's my next question. Why do you believe in what you sell? Your products, maybe it's your service. Some of you are selling service packages, some of you are not. It's the attention, certainly, but why do you believe in what you sell? Who wants to get this started, or should I just pick on Brett? Brett, too many people are smiling for me not to come to you right now. So,
Well, I would say thanks, everyone. But no, why do I believe in the services we sell, the products that we sell? I think the biggest thing is how we do it, and it's very consultative. And we're not doing it over the phone. We're not doing it on a website. We're going in there. We're seeing exactly what they need. We're bringing things that they might not even feel they need, might not be on the order list for the day. We're identifying opportunities that obviously is going to increase sales for us, but it's also going to increase efficiency for them, increase productivity for them. So it's really the way we do it versus the actual tangible products, because most of our competitors are going to have that similar, ability to sell those. Pricing can be similar, but our relationships, our ability to identify those opportunities, and our true care for the customer's business and being a partner with them would be my answer.
I love that answer, Brett. And when I think about selling in a consultative manner, the phrase that comes to mind is have a hypothesis. That hypothesis being, I think you could use this and benefit from it. I think, I'm seeing some things that when we talked, when we were all together, we talked about, walking through the kitchen and saying, hey, by the way, I noticed this, this, and this, and before your next inspection, you may want to get that taken care of because I don't want to see you, run into any issues, right? So one, that consultative nature means having eyes on things that they may not have eyes on. But the other thing is too, and you mentioned it here, we can make recommendations. Maybe it's something for your tabletop. Maybe it's something in the back of the house. But it's one thing to stop by your customers every week and see if they need anything and take orders. Okay. A lot of people can do that. But if you have a hypothesis for your customer every time you walk in, if you're providing value to them, even if it's not an idea that they take up, if you are walking in providing value every time, they're going to want to see you more often, and they are more likely to take advantage of those opportunities. And the internet takes the orders all day. If they already know what they want, and sometimes it's harder to buy it from you than it is from somewhere else, because the order process, you got to give an order, you got to, whatever. It's really easy to just give my credit card to the internet and have it show up the next day or 2 days later, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the biggest things that you sell is the way you sell it. And that's going to get ahead of ourselves a little bit here to some of the other questions. But Brett, the idea of having a hypothesis, and my challenge to you all, it's Friday, maybe you could do it today, but certainly next week, before you go on each one of your stops, think to yourself before you walk into that restaurant, what is it that I can offer them that they may not be thinking about right now? Because now you're an idea person. Now you're someone who's providing value every time they see you. That's powerful. Thanks for getting us kicked off, Brett. Who wants to go next? And I will pick on people. You know this. It's much more fun if you raise your hand.
Hey guys,
right, Cam.
just chiming in here. This is AJ. Sorry
Awesome.
about that. I'm
Thanks, AJ.
having a little automobile difficulties that I had to take care of this morning. So my apologies for being late. It's not my regular situation. So anyway, I've got the why statement. I'm not sure where you guys are at in the meeting and all that good stuff, but I'm on board. Just FYI.
Well, AJ, I'm going to ask you, why do you believe in what you sell? Because that's where we are in the why statement.
Well, you know what? I think it's because it's the relationships that we garner throughout our professional history. And with that being said, I've been in food and beverage in Central Florida operations for the last 25 years. That's where I know Scott Hall from. He was one of my reps back in the day. Actually, Scott and I worked together at the Crown Plaza Universal for a minute. But it's really, sales is relationship. That's it. That's what it is. If you keep a positive relationship and a positive mental attitude when you're walking into these houses, and they don't fear you. They want to see you because you're coming in with solutions to what their needs are, and also being a part of the operation experience. I know that when a piece of equipment goes down or whatever goes down and I get a phone call, I pick it up on the first ring, and I am going to satisfy them, putting their self at ease, knowing that I've got the solution for them and we're working towards it.
So that sounds a lot like why you believe in yourself, but what about the products? What about the products themselves? What is it about the brands, the items that you represent that makes you feel like they will back up your professional reputation?
Sure. Well, when you walk into a house and you have a Blodgett, combi oven, or you got a Vulcan piece of equipment, you stand on the history of those manufacturers. You know what I mean? Where if you come in with, and don't take this wrong, people, but like with a TOSA, something like that, you know what I mean? You want to sell the warranty with the Atosa, and they're like, well, why do you want to sell me the warranty? Well, because you're not buying a Blodgett or you're not buying a Vulcan. You're buying something that is going to satisfy you for probably the next 6 to 8 months, but it may, it's just the quality of the product is what you're standing on, the manufacturer.
So it sounds like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you've got brands that you feel are, not only are you you're representing a company, but you feel like those brands are very good in terms of representing you, because they're going to represent you when you leave, right? You walk into the house, with a range or an oven or something like that. You're also going to walk out of that house at some point, and that Vulcan is going to be there. They're going to think of you every time they look at it, right? So you feel like the products that you carry are not going to let you down from a quality standpoint, Or at least if you feel like they don't represent you as well, you know you have the insurance and the warranty to sell on the back of it to make sure that they're not mad at you when it breaks down. Is that a fair restatement?
Well, here's the situation. Just because you made the sale doesn't mean the relationship is done with that piece of equipment. It's because I'm hand holding right now with Rationale at Orange Lake Holiday Inn Club Vacation, where I'm going to have a meeting there in about an hour and a half. That they've got issues with it overflowing, and during the rinse cycle and during the steam cycle, and so they call me. They don't call Hobart. They don't call anybody else. They call me because and that's great. I want them to call me because we are in a relationship. It's kind of like a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. You know what I mean? Or a marriage. You got to take care of the dirty stuff too.
Well, I think that ties everything together, right? I mean, do you believe in the products that you're willing to put into these restaurants before you leave? And obviously, you like getting the call instead of the brands getting the call. You don't want the warranty departments getting the call, but you also don't want to sell something where you feel like, look, if you were representing a bunch of, I don't know, Bush League brands, I'm sure there are some out there, then you would be the guy that always sold problems along with the equipment, right?
Correct.
So, you've got to feel like ultimately, if you don't believe in what you sell, you're going to have a hard time believing in it. But you're going to have a hard time succeeding. It's really difficult to fake it over and over and over again. And with the relationships that you build with people, every time you walk into one of those restaurants, you shake someone's hand over a deal, you look them in the eye and you say, I'm invested in your success, and I believe that this product is going to back up that promise. If you can't say that, you're in the wrong place. And so what I hear from Brett and what I'm hearing from you is, look, we're consultative. We're coming along. We're not only representing ourselves, but we're representing these brands, and we feel like these brands uphold our reputation as much as we uphold theirs.
Correct.
That means that we can feel good about the work that we do.
Correct.
Powerful stuff. I want to just say this. I don't know if you've ever been in this situation before, but there are a lot of people who cannot say the same thing. And that sets you up from failure from the word go. So far through the first two questions, we've talked about our company. We've talked about our products. This company believes in us. We believe in this company. We believe that this company has unique strengths, being smaller, being knowledgeable, being geared towards support. So we're inclined to provide support that nobody else can, and we sell stuff that we know will uphold that promise on our behalf in our absence.
Agreed.
If you don't have those first two things, you're sunk right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that we're not sunk on a Friday morning. Cool. Now, there are 5 questions on that piece of paper or on that worksheet that I sent you. I guess it's a piece of paper if you printed it out. But I think the toughest question historically to add or to answer, it's really easy to ask. But why do you believe in yourself? It's awful quiet.
Sorry, I muted. Are you asking me directly?
No, I mean, if you want to keep going, we can be here all morning, but I'd like some other people to participate if you don't mind.
There you go. Cool. I'm good.
Doug Hill, you just shut your camera off. I think that's because you're trying to hide. So I'm going to come to you first. Or maybe Doug got up because he had to pee or something. I don't know. We will come back to Doug. Sheila, you've been here since the very beginning of this call anyway.
Of time too. I've been in the industry for 40 plus years and had a mother that was in the industry. So that's like being in the industry from birth. So
I agree.
You want to know why I believe in myself?
I do.
Well, I'm honest. I've got morals, scruples, values. I'm hardworking and I love to win.
Oh my goodness. That is easily, I don't say this statement lightly. That is easily the most direct and succinct answer I've gotten to this question in the last 10 years that I've been doing this. Morals, scruples, values. There was one other thing in there. You said them all really fast. And hardworking, and I want to win. That's a recipe. Sheila, you get a gold star at the very least. That's all I can offer you right now, but maybe we'll figure something else out because I really appreciate that answer. Thank you. Who can top that, or who can add to that anyway? I don't know if anybody can top it. Stephanie, you're smiling. There we go.
No, I don't know how to top that.
There's no right or wrong. We're here to provide our own experience here. No, but it's a really tough one to follow, but I believe in you, Stephanie. Go ahead.
Willing to go above and beyond to make sure that my customers are getting what they need. Trying to take advantage of all the opportunities that we have for additional training and learning, because there's just so many things to learn in this job. It's like, where do you start? But I've really had the support, I think, of, like Steve was saying, I'm at the same location in Greenville where we have Dupree and Chad and Gene, and these guys have done it forever, and they're always there to teach us and to help us and support us. So if I don't have an answer, they're gonna assist.
Awesome.
Which is very reassuring.
So all the reasons that you mentioned, that you get to believe in yourself, but also we go back and we fall on the company, we fall on the support that we have around us, which also, to me, that says I believe in myself because it's okay to fail. Not failure in a grand scheme of things, but failure in terms of falling short of having the right answer at the right time right away, falling short of knowing everything, falling short of, just anything that we can think of in terms of perfection. Because I think a lot of us as salespeople, we hold ourselves to this standard, which is patently unfair because nobody's perfect. But we feel like our customers need us to be perfect. And so now what does that do? That sets us up for disappointment. And I've been doing that for 20 years, probably longer than that. I've only been selling for 21 years. But when you realize that it's okay to not be perfect, because together, this group of people in the office, outside of the office, with all the experience we have, together, we're perfect. So I don't have to be. That is the thing that will allow you to sleep better at night.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really powerful sentiment, Stephanie. Thank you. How about one more person?
Jeff, I'm here.
Let's hear it.
This is Doug with FRS Charleston. Sorry, I wasn't able to get in on when you called me out earlier. I apologize for that.
It's okay. I was kidding when I thought maybe you were hiding because you shut your camera off, but it turns out you probably just needed to step away and take care of something more important. So I get it. But
I've learned after 46 years, you can't hide in this business.
They will find you.
Yes, there's too many resources to find you. But my experience, I've only been with the company for 8 months. Thank you, IFG, for bringing me on board. And I actually, I'm part of sales and I'm part of purchasing. And up to this point, it's been a great experience. I learned a lot of new systems, but based on the sales, number one, to me, you got to have the passion for this industry to really give 100% to your customer. But I believe in service, knowledge, and using your resources that you have. And being part of IFG, we have a lot of resources to give our customers the best possible service we can give them. And have an inventory within the group, be able to transfer with our 4 locations, helps us take care of our customers' day-to-day operations, delivery. And I look forward to helping this company grow and do whatever I can to help.
Thanks, Doug. I appreciate that answer. You're in a pretty unique space, being in a sales role and also in an anti-sales role on the purchasing side. So that's a particular blend that not everybody can pull off. So thanks for sharing that answer. Here's the thing. You mentioned this. A lot of people have mentioned this. But if you don't believe in yourself, it is really hard, if not impossible, to be successful. The belief that you have, which I believe is more than confidence, but the belief that you have in your abilities, your experience, the way you handle situations. Judgment is a key word in this statement. All of those things are foundational and pillars to your success. But as someone who literally holds the trademark to sell like you, it's your unique blend of judgment, strength, experience, will, power, know-how, work ethic, going back to my notes, morals, values, your willingness to show up and work hard, your willingness to maybe fall a little bit short because you know that the team will support around you. It's really powerful. It's really powerful. People want to buy from people they connect with. And people connect with our uniqueness, not with the blandness. If we were all the same, it'd be really boring. So understand that you bring something unique to the table, and that is something to lean into, not something to sand down and smooth out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. So I had to change this slide after last week because Scott Hall said, hey, we don't have customers here, we have partners. So I made sure to make that connection or make that amendment to this slide. But when we think about our partners, why are they better off doing business with us than anybody else? And, if the third question, if the why do you believe in yourself question, if that's the hardest one to answer, the most important one is this one. Because this gets into differentiation. And we've been hinting at this differentiation, from the very top. Ken mentioned it. He's like, this kind of all these things kind of run together. And I think you've all noticed this, at least with the answers that they've been shared, they've kind of blurred the lines of what each question is. But all of this is leaning toward what makes us different out there. You sell great products, you sell great equipment. But look, your biggest competitor right now that I'm hearing is the internet, which means that you're not the only ones who sell that equipment. So what is it about the experience that they get from buying from you? What makes them feel good? What makes them believe in you the same way that you believe in yourself? That's what this question's getting at. And we're going to dig into this next week, or in our next session together, rather. So I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself here, but it's important that we sell something in an objectively different manner rather than just saying subjectively that we're better, right? We'd rather lean into why we're different instead of leaning into why we're better, because better is subjective. That's going to lead to an argument. Different is objective. That's going to lead to a conversation. Conversations lead to sales. Conversations lead to sales. So I'm done getting ahead of myself. You got a sneak preview of the next session, but let's get back into this question here. Why is it that your partners, are better off for doing business with you than anybody else?
It's AJ again.
Catalina.
Sorry.
No, go. I'm gonna come to Catalina. I see Gracie has answered. Andrew, I'm happy to take your answer, but you're hogging the mic now.
Well,
That's a problem I don't normally have.
I don't mean to. So I kind of changed the question. It's not. It's not why do we. Then. Why do we? But why do I believe? Oh, you go. You go.
Yeah. All right, Andrew. Hi, I'm Catalina.
Catalina.
So I kind of wanted to go back to the second question when Andrew was answering them too, because I think this is part of my answer to this question. But I believe it because I know my customers know it, because I'm always honest with them. I'm not trying to. I'm not selling a brand, a specific brand to my customers. I'm just trying to sell them what they need. And they know I listen to them, and I'm going to be honest and do the best I can for them, because as far as like pricing and speccing, some customers can't afford a Vulcan, and a TOSA is the right brand for them. I'm not going to be selling my food truck customers a Vulcan when and a host said to like my hotel customers. So it just, I mean, I don't think our company is the brand. It's the service of making sure we're giving the customer the right thing that they need.
I love how you blended those two together, Catalina. Thank you. Because, like I mentioned before, each question kind of leads into the answer to the next. But along with selling products that you believe in, that's the answer to number 2. The answer to number 4 is, yeah, I sell products I believe in, but what's more important is I sell my customers what they need. That's part, and not everybody does that. It doesn't happen as often as we would like to think. Gracie, you have your hand raised.
No, and that's like, and a
go
lot
ahead,
of
Catalina.
it is, sorry, just last, a lot of it is that makes my customers happy when they discover they didn't even realize that there was a product out there that could achieve that, or achieve something they didn't even know they needed. So
right.
Anyway.
Right. Thank you. Gracie.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
We can now. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Gracie. I'm fairly new to the team, but I think something that, weighs a little heavy when it comes to, being different when offering business to a customer or, is I would say just building a relationship with that customer or that account to where you're not just looking at them as a number and a dollar sign. You're looking at them, this person goes home to a family just like the rest of us. They're trying to get the correct equipment in or fitting into the correct budget, bouncing off of what Catalina just said, if that was her name. I don't apologize if that wasn't.
Nope, you got it.
But
Yeah.
You got
It is, thank you.
of course, making sure your customer gets into the right piece of equipment and you're not trying to sell them what the spiffs are. You know what I mean? Just kind of focusing on what the customer needs, not so much what you need. And I think that goes a long way when the customer can kind of realize that, as to where some people may come in and try to sell them the top of the line and not even introduce something that may fit them better. They may, see that and just be like, okay, they actually are seeing what kind of fits what we need and not what they want to put us in. So yeah, something along the lines of that.
Thanks for saying that, Gracie. I appreciate that.
Of course.
We're getting a couple of sessions ahead of ourselves. We're going to talk about that specifically too, because when we think about our customers, when we think about our best customers, what we want to think about is, okay, who are those people who would be our best customers?
Right.
Why would they buy from us? But also, why wouldn't they buy from us? And we can answer that question, or we can rhetorically ask ourselves that question in the macro sense in terms of why do they want to do business with an IFG company? But on the micro, why would they want a Vulcan range versus why wouldn't they want one, right? I would love a Vulcan range in my home. I don't have that kind of home. I don't live in that kind of neighborhood. And quite frankly, I don't need that kind of a range. So there's a lot of reasons that I would. There's also a lot of reasons why I wouldn't put one of those in my kitchen. And so understanding that ahead of time helps you understand what you're going to, how you're going to be able to best position yourself to make that sale. But it also helps the customer feel like they're in the right product all the time. Huge, huge. Thanks for raising your hand, Gracie. I appreciate that.
I'll raise my hand.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, and this is just I didn't get this out of a book, Jeff.
No,
but I'm going to kind of recap what Catalina said, what Gracie said, and kind of the why my customers are better off. Diagnostic need fulfillment based on feature, benefit, and budget. Okay, so what that means is it kind of wraps up what Andrew said and Gracie said and Catalina said. It's like you almost have to present the good, better, best, because that's what the internet's trying to show them. I mean, I had a customer, two second story. They were looking at different ice machines and they decided on Hojizaki, but they had a Scotsman. And then all of a sudden he talked to somebody else. And I said, aren't you your own testimonial, Kent? Yeah, I mean, so he bought a Scotsman. So anyway, the long and the short is good, better, best is what we all have to do. And our customers need somebody like me and you guys to be that person for them. You've got to decipher what they see on the internet because they don't know what they are looking at half the time. That's where we come in. Anyway, that's what I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. I like the way you sum that up. It's about the feature, the benefit, and also the budget. Like, let's be realistic. We got to make sure we're playing the same sport, let alone the same ballpark. Huge. And that's how we build trust. If you're just making recommendations that don't feel personalized to them, what is that? How much of a recommendation is that, right? And look, these internet websites with AI and everything else are getting much better at making those personalized recommendations. But as the AI-ification, if you will, happens on the internet, how do you bring the distinctly human aspect to the relationship? How do you provide what AI will never be able to provide? I think that's what you're getting at, Ken. Sheila, you have your hand raised.
I was just going to say that back when we were talking about why you believe in the services and the products we offer, and everybody went off on the tangent of high quality, that kind of thing. Bottom line, we sell some of those bottom of the barrel as well as the highest quality equipment. What you have to do with your customer, your friend, is determine how much money they have to spend, what are their needs, what are their critical needs, and then you have to take whatever money they have. If they tell you they have a $100 bill, you have to help them spend that $100 bill the wisest way you can help them spend it, and you leave them with, you spend $99.95, leave them with a nickel, let them feel good, and you take care of them. But you're 100% upfront. You're 100% honest. You don't have the money for a high quality piece of equipment, but you have a desperate need. I can sell you this economical piece. It's probably only going to last you a couple of years or whatever the truth is. But you always start out with the facts, Jack. These are the truths. And then you help them spend their money, or you help them find a way to increase their budget to move them into the product that is truly needed and higher quality, thus our lease to own and some of our other creative financing methods. But sometimes we do have to sell them the bottom of the barrel product, but you lead with honesty.
Sheila, I like you. Thank you for sharing that. Here's the thing. What you're talking about too is a lot of additional work. And quite frankly, most of your competitors aren't willing to do that work. And they're also not willing to do that work and then leave a nickel on the table. Normally they're going to say, oh, yeah, we forgot about this surcharge. Do you have $105? When they really don't. And that leaves a bad taste in your customer's mouth. But again, saying, look, here's what you need. I like to think in terms of here are the jobs to be done. There are multiple ways you can get those jobs done. Here's the way that you could do it at an unlimited budget. Here's the way you could do it with a little more budget than you have. Or hey, look, if all you have is that $100, I'm gonna help you spend $99.95 of it, because there's always a nickel's worth of something that's gonna come up. And oh, by the way, based on what I know and based on what I think you feel, $120 would be a better budget. I know you don't have it, but we do have some ways that we can get you there. So when you're ready for that conversation, here we are. Really powerful, Sheila. Thank you. Thank you. We got. I have a couple things I want to get to, but I want to make sure I recognize these hands. So Veronica, then Eric.
Hello. Sorry, I have pneumonia, so I may cough. But
I hope you feel better
like
soon.
a lot too of from the beginning question to now is not just the point of sale. So I come from a unique position because I've worked AR purchasing within the company and stuff, but it's not just at the point of sale with the sales rep. It's also like we have people in the other departments that care. So within our warehouse, are we going to make an extra delivery? If something goes wrong, are we going to come back up there? Like we had one customer, something went wrong, and our sales rep went to the company and said, hey, we need to replace this food. They got a voucher for food. So it's not just our relationship with the customers, it's how hard we work to have relationships with our vendors. So we know the product and can also get sometimes like we need that. This got broken in shipment. How can we fix this? So it's taking care of the customers and then also at AR. So if they have a problems with accounting, what are you going to have with another company versus our company? Or are they going to get great customer service at that point? Is our AP going to have great customer service with our vendors so we can keep that relationship? How is it with purchasing? So it's not always just at the sales rep, it's what's the company offering from beginning to the very end of the sale, to the invoices paid.
Awesome. What a great call out, Veronica. Thank you. Thank you. Eric, what would you like to share?
I just wanted to add to the conversation as far as we talked about Vulcan, we talked about Atosa. I don't know any one of our competitors that do not sell that brand. We all sell the exact same products. There's no product that we sell that somebody else can't get their hands on as being a competitor. So I kind of take it to the next step. And am I communicating lead times with the customer? Am I identifying if they need any accessories for that product that we're selling? A gas hose that's looking pretty worn out there. Let's add that to the order. And then after install care, are we following up with them? Are we making sure it's working for them properly? And if there's any warranty issues, we handle that quickly. So I just wanted to expand upon it's more than just the product.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. And actually, it's a really nice lead into the next slide that I have here. And that is the fifth question on that worksheet was a trick question. And the reason it's a trick question is that if you haven't asked your customers, you don't know. And if I lined up 100 if I lined up 100 salespeople and I asked them why their best customers buy from them, 5 would know the answer because 5 have asked. 15 would guess right because they're pretty good salespeople. They pay attention. They've been doing this a while. They understand nuance. They can read between the lines. But 80% of salespeople, so 80 out of that 100 that I asked, would be shocked to learn the real reason. And here's why this is such an important question to know, is that if you know why your best customers buy from you, you will know exactly how to find more like them. And the real reasons they buy from you are typically not the ones that are listed on your website or printed in your brochures or anything like that, because those real reasons are often personal. But they're not distinctly personal to just one person. They often describe a feeling that those people get from doing business with you. So if I look back on the last 55 minutes of our conversation today, I would suggest, I'm going to tell you that you should go out and you should ask them, but I would suggest that your best customers buy from you because it's not just the product, it's managing the service, it's managing the lead time, it's making sure that you are looking out for the best interests of that customer. It's the relationships you have with your customers and with your vendors. It's a full diagnostic needs assessment and fulfillment based on features, benefits, budget. It's about having a relationship with your customers such that you recognize that they go home to a different life than what is here in the restaurant, but this restaurant life affects their home life. It's about making sure that you're always honest with them. You get them what they need, regardless of what their budget is. Maybe their budget is more than what they need is. You're not just taking as much as you can. And maybe you're suggesting that, look, is there any way we can change that budget? Because you're really leaving yourself hanging here if you're hamstringing yourself with that light budget. You've got morals, you've got values, you've got scruples, you want to win, you're willing to learn, you've got passion. Any of this sound familiar? These are just from my notes from today. But these are all the things that go and add up to that feeling that feeling your customers get when they work with you. And if you're not leaning into this stuff, because the products that you sell back up your reputation and you're happy to stand on the reputation of those products, and you know that this company backs you and backs your customers, because you're a small company, because you get it, because it's not just about the bottom line, although that's important. These are all the reasons that you work here and you could work anywhere. These are also the reasons your best customers buy from you, and they can buy anywhere. So here's my challenge to you, and I'm not here to just give you a bunch of homework, but here's my challenge to you is on a regular basis, maybe it's every 6 months, at least every year, do this worksheet again. Spend some time. Maybe have an extra cup of coffee on a Saturday morning or something like that, and spend some time journaling on this stuff. Maybe it's a glass of wine after work. Hey, whatever you you fancy in that regard, but give yourself some time, some quiet, and an opportunity to investigate these questions because they're important. And you should do it at least once a year. Every 6 months is better. And Ken, to the point that you made earlier, you're always learning something. And when you give yourself these prompts, when you allow yourself the ability to think about this stuff, new connections get made, new talk tracks emerge, and you're able to move forward. I want to talk really quickly about our next session together. I have a very, very brief survey because I've got 3 questions for you. And again, I don't mean to give, there will not be homework before every session. This first couple getting going, I need your assistance because I want to make sure that you feel like you're participating in this content, not like it's just me throwing stuff at you here. But we're going to lean into those differentiators that IFG companies bring to the marketplace. It's going to be a Google form. Just fill it out. There's no email address or anything required. I'm not looking to hold people accountable to whether or not they did it. I'm looking for your participation in this. So we're going to talk specifically about how to get these differentiation points across in our next session. I'm extremely pleased with the amount of participation we had today. This was great. I mean, we're up against the clock right now because you guys had so much to say. That's huge. The more you put into this, the more you will get out of this. And I appreciate everything today. Ian, do you have anything that you want to add before we break?
No, it was a great session. As I agree with you, I think the contributions across the board were fantastic. Some great insight, and this is a great starting point for our journey over the next 11 courses. So I want to thank everybody that was on the call. It was really good feedback that Jeff got. Great interaction, and I'll hand it back to Jeff because it's his program.
Well, thank you. We'll see each other again in 2 weeks, I believe. I think we have to miss the 12th. Today's the 26th. Yes. So I will see you all again in 2 weeks. If you have any questions, I know you all have my email address. Please feel free to reach out. If you had something you wanted to add today, you didn't get a chance to, please feel free to send it to me. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you again very soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.